Hi, I'm Extraayogurt and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, then welcome back. And today we are doing a continuation of our first building and design tips video because I realized when I was talking about building your perfect shell, I forgot some key elements, and that includes building attached garages and a few basics on stairs. Of course, in the community, there is no shortage of tutorials like this, but I just feel like for the building tips series, I should include these two things because they are really important and I want it to be a very comprehensive series. So first, I'm going to start with attached garages and show you guys how to build one when you're starting with the garage first. And the first thing you want to do is just plop down your driveway and plop down, the pavement that's going to be the interior of the garage. And then after that, all you have to do is create your room around it, making sure to leave at least one square space because you're going to need to add stairs here. Because your Sims just, they need a way to get on top of the foundation through the garage. So this is where you want to turn on your bowl prop, constrain floor elevation, false cheat. And all we're doing is adding a little rectangle in the corner there. Basically, the idea is just to get a foundation level wall height. So from there, you're going to go to your level terrain tool and level this out from that corner to the opposite corner. And then you have something like this. It is literally just a foundation level piece of wall. And from there, if you want, you can turn off the cheat, change false to true, and build away, like so. And whenever you've figured out your foundation or the rest of your house, then you can go ahead and build your walls around the garage and around your home, however you intend it to look. So there you have it. And then so when it comes to placing stairs, sometimes you're gonna get this error that's really annoying, and I'm not sure why that happens, but to fix that, all you have to do is turn move objects on and it will let you place stairs. And these stairs are completely fine and functional. I'm just not sure why. Sometimes the game does that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that back off and add our door. And there you go. Very basic, very simple. And then now, of course, this is where you want to turn your constrained floor elevation sheet back on so that you can place your garage door. And you're going to get a situation that looks like this. Go up a level and level that out. And there you have it. Now, you will get this annoying little like chip in the wall here if you have foundation next to that corner, if that makes sense. So wait a second, let me undo that and show you guys what I mean. I'm gonna turn the cheat back off and delete this, and now you can see that little chip goes away. If it bothers you, then make sure you don't have any foundation touching this corner. If it doesn't bother you, then build away. But there you have it. It's super simple. If it's confusing, just try to remember all you're trying to do is get basically a faux foundation made of wall so that you can build next to your actual foundation. So yeah, now let's go ahead and move into how to add an attached garage to a build that you already have. All right, so using our first example house from the last video, I'm going to show you guys how to add on an attached garage, and I'm just going to leave the layout as is for now, and we will work out a better layout as we go. So first things first, just like in the first example, start off plopping down your driveway and its connector piece, and instead of building that room around it, because we can't, because there's a foundation here, we're instead going to build a kind of semi-open room, leaving just that square of space next to the foundation. And actually I'm going to delete this wall covering off of the foundation so that you can see it better and visualize it better, like so. Now, just like before, we're going to go ahead and turn our constrained floor elevation false sheet on, and go ahead and draw your piece of foundation on the corner of the room. This time connecting it to the house so that you have a seamless entry here. And you can really make it as long as you want. You could go all the way here if you wanted, but do not put a foundation on the corner there. And in a second, I'm going to show you why that is going to cause some problems for you later on. So make it whatever size you want. I'm just going to make it like this size, so we have enough room for the door here. And in this corner, you're going to use a wall piece to connect it to the foundation. And because we have that cheat on, it allows us to do that. And you're gonna get this spike here, but don't worry, we can always go to our leveling tool and it's gonna sort all of that out for us. So just like in the first example, drag from one corner to the opposite corner to get a nice flat foundation height room that you can work with. And from here, I'm going to add our stairs and our door to the inside of the house. Obviously this goes into a bedroom, so that doesn't really make sense, but for the purposes of this video, we're just gonna ignore that. So go ahead and finish building your walls. And our cheat is still on, so we can just go ahead and add our door now. Just like in the first example, you're gonna go up a level and level this out. Like so. You can do it like that. You can do it like this. Doesn't matter. So sometimes when you're using this cheat, you're gonna get these weird like spaces where there's no floor tile, and that's because that means that just somewhere while you were working you altered some tiles and you weren't able to see, if that makes sense. So in order to fix that, just go ahead and level it out like so. I'm gonna undo that to show you that even with the cheat off, you can always level out those little spots. So yeah, and just like that, you have an attached garage added to a house that was already built. Now I'm gonna show you guys oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, one thing about these attached garages is you just have to think about you're gonna have a diagonal like slanted wall here. So when it comes to wallpapers, that's just something you have to think about. Do you want, do you care about that? Do you want it to show? Do you care if it doesn't show? You know, wallpapers like that. Sometimes it adds a cool detail, but sometimes it doesn't match what you wanted it to look like. So usually I'll go with something plain so that you can't tell as much. But yeah, so like I said, now I'm going to show you why you don't want to extend your foundation too far. So back to this step. Let's say that you extended it all the way to the end. Ooh, let me make sure our cheat is on. Let's say that you extended it all the way to the end here. And then from there, you know, you continued the process, leveled everything out. You know, added your stairs. Whoops, and our stairs don't want to place there. But like I said before, just turn move objects on if you're having that issue, and it'll be all good. Then we finish building our walls. You know, we add our door. And you're thinking, this just looks great. This is perfect. And then you go to add your garage door. Like normal, you see a bald spot here, you level that out, and then you finish leveling out the rest of your garage. Now, you get this annoying like chunk of foundation here that is going to be impossible to fix. At least I don't know how to fix it. So if you try to level it out, the wall's gonna come down with it and you're gonna have this situation. So that's just an example of why you shouldn't put a piece of foundation there at the corner. You should always just put a wall. The more you do it, it will become like muscle memory for you. But I know when I was first learning how to do this, it was really hard. It was really easy for me to learn, but hard for me to remember each time. So just the more you do it, you'll get more and more used to it. But if you just remember that all you're trying to achieve is a foundation level wall or room, then I think that will help you kind of remember how it goes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like finish this, fix this, and make it look more polished so that you can see a final result. And yeah. All right, so I just went ahead and finished throwing some paint on the house and finishing the roof, and just trying to give you an idea of what an attached garage looks like with the fully finished product. I mean, I literally just threw some random paint and threw together a layout really quick, but actually this house feels kind of homey and kind of cute. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with it. So now what we're gonna do is get into another example of adding an attached garage to a house that was already built, but a little bit more complicated, I guess. So let's go over here next door to this house. All right, so now we're on to our next example of how to add an attached garage, and I really wanted to include this example. This is also a house that we worked on in the first video, but I wanted to include it because it does, it kind of looks like it would be a lot more complicated, but I wanted to show you that it's going to be just the same process. Even though there's a basement, even though there's steps here, you know, there's a lot more going on in this build than in the first build. So yeah, once again, we start just the same exact way, 1 square away from the foundation, at least. Add your driveway and then add your connector piece. And then because we can't build a wall right next to the foundation, we're going to build a semi room. So Leave that 1 square of space between this wall and the foundation. Same thing over here, 1 square of space. And make sure you have at least 1 square of space around your garage so that you can add stairs. Now, from here, you're going to turn on your constrained floor elevation sheet. And depending on the layout of your house, it's gonna depend on where you're gonna want to add your stairs and your foundation. So it looks like I'm gonna have to put the door to the garage probably here would be best, I think. So I'm just gonna make sure that our foundation allows that. So as you can see, I just built my piece of foundation right there. And just like all the other times, click and drag from one corner to the opposite corner to get it nice and level. Whoops, and I forgot one thing. When you're sealing it off, make sure you use a piece of wall here. Whoops, and it's gonna go all crazy. Whenever that happens, just go down a floor and you can avoid all of that nonsense. So now go to your level terrain tool and once again, drag from one corner to the opposite corner so that you can get that nice foundation level wall like we talked about before. So now I'm going to make sure I add steps. And of course, whenever you get that error, just turn move objects on, place your steps, and you can turn it right back off. And yeah, continue building your garage walls. Go ahead and add your garage door with the cheat still on. And level out the top. And of course, we're getting those bald spots again, I've been calling them. And you can just level that out, whether you have the cheat on or off. You can always just level those out with those bald spots out with the level terrain tool. So, and just like that, you have a lovely attached garage. Now, right here, the terrain is going downward. Whoops. What I'm gonna do is first turn off the cheat. This is a big issue when you're learning how to use this cheat. You have to make sure you know when to turn it on and off. And as long as you're not trying to like manipulate anything out of the ordinary, I would make sure that you have it turned off. And then we can go ahead and level this terrain out for the interior of our garage. I really struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes I'll forget to turn it off and then I just end up ruining whatever I was doing. But yeah, go ahead and, you know, finish it up. Do whatever you wanted to do with it. And of course, I'm gonna move these windows. And yeah, I think that looks really nice. So like I was saying, don't be intimidated by where you're adding the garage. It is the same process every single time. I guess the only limitation is, like, for example, if you didn't have enough room, if you didn't factor in how much room you would need. And like we talked about in the first video, that's like one of the things to think about when you're planning a build. You know, what kind of elements do you know that you want? If you know that you want to add an attached garage down the line somewhere, just make sure you have that space reserved so that you can do that. But I'm going to go ahead and finish adding a roof here and moving these windows around and making this look more polished. Okay, so you guys saw me doing some other unnecessary stuff, but we've added our attached garage. That was our whole goal, and this house is looking really, really cool. There's just one more thing that we should cover with regards to building your perfect shell, and that is stairs. So let's go ahead and move on to an empty lot and we can talk about it. Right, so stairs, I'm going to try to go through this as orderly as I can, but I do feel like there's a lot to talk about. And the first place I want to start is with the pre-built stairs that the game comes with. So the first thing is that every standard staircase in the game, if you're going from a flat floor tile to another flat floor tile, requires 4 squares between the 2 landings. If that makes sense. So whenever you're building, just keep that in mind. Like for example, over here, I know I'm going to build a staircase, so I made sure to have 4 square tiles between the two floors. Hopefully that makes sense. But of course, if you're building like on a landing, that will change to 3 tiles from this landing to the next floor. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. For now, let's just focus on these. And so you have your single staircase, you have this nice double staircase that came with mansion and garden stuff, and you have this space-saving spiral staircase that came with apartment life. And not too much to talk about here. If you want, you could do something like this and double them up. If you have a 3-story build and you're trying to use spiral staircases for both floors, or if you're using a regular staircase, you can do something like this and kind of like a zigzag fashion. Just be sure to have your 4 floor tiles that this can actually sit on, because it just needs to sit on floor tiles because it is a pre-built staircase. So now let's go ahead and move on to modular stairs. So there are 2 types of modular stairs, and that is regular ones like this, and then you have ones that are empty at the bottom like this. And here's just a few examples. The game also has this one, which is kind of a mix between the 2, but yeah, so same thing with these. Like we said before, 4 squares between each landing if you're going from a flat tile to another flat tile. And if you want, you can kind of do it in a zigzag fashion. I like to do this sometimes when I'm trying to save space, but I still want full staircases. So yeah. Now, the reason I'm even showing this part is because I wanted to talk about how with the modular stairs that are not empty underneath, you're gonna have this thing where as you can see, like it goes below the floor that it's on, and it's not a real issue because it's not actually in the way. Like you can still place stuff here under the stairs and it's not a problem. The only time that it is going to be an issue is if you're a screenshot person like me and you're going for a nice screenshot and this is in the way. It's just really unsightly and annoying. So if that's your goal, then something I like to do to try to remedy that is I just build a little 1x4 room around it. If that makes sense. It really depends on the build, on what I'm doing, but something like this, if I'm trying to conceal that, then I might just go ahead and do something like that. But just something I wanted to cover really quickly, something to keep in mind if you do like to take screenshots of your builds. Otherwise, it's not actually in the way at all. I mean, even if you have a floor tile under there, you still have the same issue. So yeah. Now, like we touched on before, when we were building our attached garages, Sometimes when you want to build modular stairs against a wall like this, you're gonna get that error. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not really sure why, but you can always just go ahead and turn on move objects, and that will fix that. And these are completely functional and there will be no issues there. All right, now let's say you want to do an L-shaped staircase. The most direct and like easy way to do that is by taking the split level foundation here and using that as your first landing. So like I said before, if you're going from a flat floor tile to a landing, to a foundation, then you want to make sure there's 3 tiles between the two. So here's our landing here. So I know I need 1, 2, 3 tiles between the two. And I turned off move objects. I'm going to turn that back on so I can place the stairs against the wall. And so now you can have something like this and make an L staircase. And of course you can put fencing here. It just depends on what you're going for, but a lot of times I like to conceal my staircases with walls just because it makes it easier to not have to worry about the railing clashing with whatever I have going on as far as like the design of the house. So of course you could do something like that to make an L staircase, and if you want you can make it even bigger and do like a double L staircase, something like that. Yeah, pretty simple, not too difficult. Now, if you want to do a U-shaped staircase, we can achieve this by taking your regular foundation, and you want at least 3 tiles of regular foundation. By the way, notice that I'm not doing this against the wall, and we'll talk about how to do that later. But you want at least three tiles of this regular foundation, which, by the way, of course, that's why we're not building on a building with foundation already, because that wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't be possible to do this if we were. So, and then you want to go ahead and put 1 square of the split level foundation on top of it. And now all you have to do is place your stairs there, there, and then, so we remember talking about the different spacing. If you're going from a flat floor tile to a double foundation like this, you only need 2 squares between both landings. So I know to put my floor tile there, and there you have it. You have a nice U-shaped staircase. It's pretty cool. So, and once again, you know, railings if you want, fences if you want. Okay, now let's say that you don't want a triple staircase like that, and you just want a L-shaped staircase, but you don't quite like the look of what we did earlier. This landing, it's a little bit low, and you know, you have a very short staircase here and then a very long one here. I don't mind it at all, I actually like it, but if you don't like that and you want this landing to be taller, but you still want that L shape, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So first off, you want to make sure you don't have any floor coverings on the first floor. Take your terrain tool, your raise terrain tool, and a small brush, and you're going to do 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you don't actually have to level that out or anything. You just need that little 4-click kind of little hill there. Now you're going to take your regular foundation, start in the middle, and pull Oop, and pull out. Why doesn't it want to do it the other way? I'm not sure what it is. Oh, guys, I'm really slow. Okay, I have invisible ceiling lights and there's one right here. I'm sorry. So, okay, let's continue with what we were doing. So make sure that you don't have any floor tiles and you don't have any anything on the ceiling that could be blocking your staircase. So let's go back to our little hill and take our foundation, pull outward. I'm going to try to avoid the ceiling lamp there. And now you have this kind of half wall level foundation. And then from here, we can level that out. And just like that, you can have a more like equal L-shaped staircase. And yeah. So same thing with the U-shaped staircase not being against the wall, because we have a real foundation here that we can't build next to. Let's talk about how to build these types of staircases against a wall or in a corner. Okay, so we're going to be working with a 2-story, no foundation building. And when you're doing this, you kind of have to pre-plan for it. So figure out where you want your U-shaped or L-shaped staircase to go, and make sure that on the other side of it, you have a bit of space on the outside. Now, what I mean is, say you're like, I want it to go here, make sure that you have just a few squares of space outside of there to work with, because you're gonna need it. So the first step is you're going to go ahead and do your 4 clicks again outside of the house and make your half wall level foundation outside of the house. Now from there, you're going to go ahead and turn on bullprop constrained floor elevation false. And we're going to start manipulating this section a bit. Figure out how big you want your landing to be. I want this to be 4 by 4, and I'm going to do it just like that. Now, the reason that we needed this outside of the house is because we needed a leveling tool to get our indoor foundation the same height. So when you drag it, go ahead and drag it out an extra square. If you don't, if you just drag it to the end, then you get this kind of situation, which is going to affect the way that your wall coverings look later on. So it's also going to make it harder to place the stairs, but yeah. Now from here, you can go ahead and place your stairs. And this is a double foundation height or half wall height foundation. So you need your 2 squares away from the landing to the next floor. Whoops. And let me go ahead and undo that and turn off this cheat so that the walls don't start moving on us. Okay, now once you get to this point, you're going to notice that when you try to place your stairs against the wall there, it's not going to be nice. So in order to fix that, go back to this piece of foundation that you had placed outside, and you're going to drag it over right to that area, and go to your level terrain tool. And the reason that we needed to do that was so that we can have a square to level this out to, if that makes sense. So this is looking crazy, but yeah, level it out there, and you're gonna kind of see you're gonna see the grid appear there again. So now you can place your stairs. Hopefully that makes sense. So the whole purpose of this outer piece is just to help you with the leveling when you have issues like that. And of course to get the right height for your indoor foundation. So yeah, now you're gonna go ahead and turn your cheat back on. And level everything out. And yeah. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to do it again, but this time with a U-shaped staircase. So same thing, go ahead and add your piece of foundation on the outside. And with the U-shaped foundation, I mean the U-shaped staircase, you don't have to adjust the height of this foundation. This is exactly what we need, so you can skip the raised terrain part and just put a little rectangle foundation on the outside there. Now we're gonna go to our first floor, turn our constrained floor cheat back on, and kind of similar to how we did our attached garages, build your 3 square first level of landing on the corner there, wherever along the wall that you wanted it. So yeah, and then go ahead and add your second piece of foundation. And from here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the cheat off and add our stairs. Add our landing up top, and like we talked about before, because this is a double foundation height landing or half wall height, you just need 2 squares between this landing and the second floor. So the reason I turn the cheat off, by the way, is because if I don't and I leave it on and I try to place this floor tile here, then it starts doing weird stuff like that. So that is why you want to make sure your cheat is off at the right times. Place the landing, and of course we're gonna have that same issue where it doesn't want to cooperate. You don't even need to turn the cheat back on. Just grab your level terrain tool, go to your outside piece of foundation and level it out just like that. And now you can place your stairs. Now let's go ahead and finish this off. Turn your cheat back on. Level everything out. And once again, you will have that wallpaper issue, except lower, because our foundation height was lower on the inside. Just keep that in mind when it comes to wall coverings in that area there. So yeah, so now instead of having it in the middle of the floor, you can actually have it next to a wall if you'd like. So hopefully that covered some cool things that you can do with staircases. Okay, so the very last thing I want to talk about, because I almost forgot, is window placement. Whenever you've done something like, you know, this, placing a U-shape or L-shape staircase against a wall, window placement, it's not going to be possible. And that is because this section of wall is essentially like pushed down into the ground, and so it's thrown off our grid here. Even if you have a nice level top, it's still going to create issues placing windows anywhere else. So just something to keep in mind, which is why honestly doing something like this, you really want to plan out before you start building. because adding something like this to a house you've already built, it may cause some design issues. So if there is a way around this, I'm not aware of it, but yeah, just remember that adding windows in that section, it's gonna give you a hard time. All right, so I hope this video was helpful, guys. I'm really sorry if it was a little bit disorganized. I'm definitely still learning myself, but these are a few cool things that I wanted to share and try to just try to explain the best that I can, or at least give it a shot. So hopefully you got some cool ideas, and yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode. Let me know if there's anything specific that you'd like to see some building tips on, and yeah, bye bye.